Welcome to the scientific nap. Here, nothing is urgent, not even sleep, just breathe. Let each word drift through you like a soft sigh. No thoughts to hold, no tasks to finish. Only this moment and the next, dissolving into calm. Stay. Here, resting lightly in stillness, it begins with a feeling that something has already slipped away. The world is quiet when you arrive, not the hush of night, but the kind of quiet that settles after something has been lost. You stand at the edge of a forest made of fog and breath and something older than time. The trees shimmer faintly, their bark veined with silver, like veins beneath skin. Their roots rise and fall through the mist as though they're exhaling. Slowly, you don't remember walking here. You're not sure where you came from, but the path beneath your feet feels worn in a way your body remembers. It curves gently into the woods, as if it knows you're not in a hurry to understand. You begin walking. The fog thickens as you move forward, each step pulling strands of it into your clothes, your hair, your lungs. It clings to your thoughts, like cobwebs, soft but persistent, catching the edges of memories before you can hold them. You try to recall a name, maybe your own, but it blurs at the edges, dissolving before it fully forms. A tree to your left hums as you pass. It's not a sound exactly, more a vibration beneath your ribs. You pause, place your hand on its bark. The tree is warm. Etched across it are symbols you almost recognize, fragments of handwriting, numbers, a child's drawing of a house. They stir something in you, but not clearly. The longer you stare, the more they fade, until the trunk is smooth and blank again. You keep moving. Up ahead, the path splits in two. One way leads into a thicket so dense with fog it becomes a wall. The other curves through a low, glowing underbrush, where small orbs drift lazily like fireflies in a slow-motion dream. You follow the light, not because you trust it, but because something in your chest feels pulled. The further you go, the more the forest seems to forget itself. A fallen log you pass vanishes when you turn to look back. A clearing you step. Into collapses, into mist once you exit. Even your footprints fade behind you, as though the world is gently erasing your presence the moment you move forward. It's not cruel, just quiet, like a dream that doesn't want to be remembered too clearly. A soft wind brushes your face, carrying whispers that sound almost like names. You try to listen. One of them might be yours. At the center of a grove, you find a shallow pool ringed by moss-covered stones. The water is so still it doesn't reflect your face, only the sky above, though there's no sky you can see. As you kneel, something drifts through the mist behind you, a shape, or maybe just a thought too large to hold. You turn, but nothing is there. You feel something pressing gently at the edges of your mind, like fingers searching for a lock. Not a memory exactly, but the space where one should be. A birthday, a voice, the color of a coat in winter. It's like trying to hold water in your hands. The tighter you try to grasp it, the faster it slips away. The fog shifts. Now you see doorways in the trees, not real ones, but outlines. Places you may have stepped through once. Dreams you exited too soon. Each one flickers like an unfinished sentence. You approach the nearest and feel warmth in your chest, like recognition. A hallway lined with stars. The smell of something. Baking. Laughter that once belonged to someone. Then it's gone. You wonder if this forest was made from everything you've ever forgotten. Every fleeting detail your brain never stored. Every moment is too quiet, too small, too painful. Maybe this place is the backlog, the unarchived reel of your life, drifting in fog. Not lost, not erased, just left behind. You find a bench that looks as though it grew from the roots of a nearby tree. You sit, not to rest, but to let the forgetting settle. It feels almost peaceful, like the weight you didn't know you were carrying has lifted, even if you can't name what it was. The fog curls around your ankles like an animal finding a place to sleep, and somewhere in the distance a chime rings, low, melodic, vibrating through the earth like a memory echoing from far away. You stand slowly and turn toward the sound. In the direction you didn't choose earlier, the dense wall of fog is shifting. A narrow passage opens, just wide enough for one person to pass. You step toward it. The ground is softer here, like walking on breath. The mist is thicker, and with every step, something in you unhooks from certainty. There's no fear, only quiet. You reach out and let your fingers skim the air, trying to catch the shape of a thought you almost had. It slips away like mist between branches, but the fog is changing, becoming warmer, less like erasure, more like memory trying to return. The sound is soft, like bees in sleep, or wires vibrating with a message still forming. It pulls you forward through the thinning fog until the mist parts in threads, revealing a sloping hill glazed in dew. At the crest stands a garden lot enclosed, not fenced, but breathing quietly under a velvet sky. It's lit from within, not by moonlight or stars, but by something older, something green and remembering. You step onto the soil, and the air thickens with the scent of damp roots, citrus, and something sweetly metallic, like old coins buried under moss. The plants here are strange tall reeds made of spiraling stems, petals that open in sequence, leaves that seem to turn toward you and then away again. Some flowers pulse faintly as you pass, like a heartbeat you forgot to notice. The hum grows, louder, though nothing around you moves. At your feet, a patch of ground blooms suddenly. No seeds, no rain, just a ripple in the earth, and then a flowering, red, then violet, then silver. It unfolds in perfect rhythm, as if responding to something inside you rather than outside. You crouch, touch one of the petals. It's warm and soft as breath. For a moment, you swear it speaks your name, not aloud, but in the way an old photograph sometimes feels like memory reaching back. You don't remember planting anything here, but the plants do. They lean toward you like old friends, unsure if you've changed. Some are tiny, almost invisible, clustered low to the soil. Others stretch tall like decisions that shaped you without ever asking. You walk deeper into the garden. Vines curl up the trunks of translucent trees, threading like veins through wood that shimmers with color. You catch glimpses of events in the bark dinner tables, missed calls, quiet kindnesses, the taste of something you've long forgotten but still crave. They're not whole memories, just impressions, fragments. Above you, a tree begins to bloom. Its flowers open in time with your footsteps, like they've been waiting. Each one is shaped like a spiral, petals curling inward instead of out. You reach for one and watch it unfold in your palm, revealing a tiny glowing seed inside. You don't know why, but the seed feels familiar, as if it carries something you once felt long before you could name it. A breeze moves through the leaves, whispering not in words, but in sequences, patterns your body almost recognizes. You feel it in your spine, in your fingertips, in the small place just behind your eyes where intuition lives. It reminds you of the way music can echo inside you before you understand the melody, The garden is remembering you. You wonder how long. It's been growing without you. Years, lifetimes. Or maybe this is the kind of place that grows between breaths, in the space where decisions go quiet but don't disappear. You walk past a grove of tangled shrubs that sway toward you, thick with blooms you don't recall ever becoming. Each petal seems to vibrate with a different feeling, guilt, awe. Love you never spoke aloud. You touch a bloom shaped like a teardrop, and it falls the moment your finger grazes it. Beneath it, the soil begins to shift. Not violently, just enough to form a pattern, concentric rings spiraling out from where you stand. It's not a map, but it could be. A living diagram of cause and effect, of reactions blooming long after the action fades. You trace it with your foot, and tiny seedlings emerge where you step, shy, trembling, new. You realize the garden doesn't grow in real time. It grows from your influence, from choices made and left unmade, from feelings so small you didn't know they left traces. Every cell, every moment, every breath. This place absorbs them, translates them into root and petal, pattern and pulse. The flowers aren't memories. They're imprints, signals, instructions written into the dirt by a self you no longer carry fully, but which still lives in the soil. A section of the garden, darkens. You step toward it. Here, the plants are still, almost brittle. The leaves curve inward, as if protecting something not ready to bloom. You reach for one, gently, and it shivers. A sudden image flashes through your mind. A door you never opened, a voice you didn't answer, a silence too heavy to fill. You don't pull back. You simply stand there and let the leaf rest. Against your skin, something in you quiets. The garden doesn't need you to remember everything. It only asks that you recognize what was once alive, farther ahead. You notice a clearing dot in its center. A small structure stands, a glass dome cradling a single plant, stark and strange. It has no leaves, no blooms, only a twisting stem that pulses slowly with light. You kneel beside it. Inside the dome, a breath of condensation fogs the surface. When you press your palm to it, the fog clears. The plant bends toward your hand, as if sensing you through the glass. This is not something that came from you. It's something that waits for you. A potential, an unopened part of you that's been growing in the dark. Not forgotten, just waiting for enough warmth to surface. You don't open the dome. You don't need to. The recognition is enough. Behind you, the rest of the garden begins to glow. Not all at once, not brightly, just a shimmer moving through the vines, like neurons firing across synapses, like the first threads of memory being rewoven. You turn, and every step leaves a faint light in the soil. The garden has changed you, though you don't yet know how, but something new is blooming behind your ribs. And somewhere in the earth, the roots begin to rearrange. You follow the shifting roots until the soil softens to silt beneath your feet, and the garden thins into silence. The sky above is bruised with night, starlight glinting off the edge of something wide and silver, a lake, still and waiting, as if it too has forgotten how to move. The surface gleams like frozen thought, mirroring not your reflection, but 1,000 unread pages. The shore offers no resistance as you step in. The water accepts you slowly. First your ankles, then your knees, your ribs. It is neither cold nor warm, only precise, as if it knows how to wrap around the parts of you you've stopped naming. With each step deeper, sound vanishes. You hear only your breath and even that begins to fall away. You begin to sink, not like drowning, more like remembering how to descend. The light above bends softly, ribboning through the surface, and then dims as the world around you thickens. All around you, shelves. Not wood or stone, but strands of kelp and moss woven into spirals, holding stacks of floating books. Some glow faintly, as if still being written, others pulse with the slow rhythm of sleep. You reach out and open the nearest dot. No words greet you, only textures. The grain of sand beneath a child's foot. The echo of a laugh in a high stairwell. A cool spoon on fevered skin. You don't remember these moments, but your body nods in recognition. This isn't memory the way you understand it. It's a memory your cells have kept for you. You drift deeper, weightless now. The further you go, the older the shelves. The books grow stranger, bound in ice, in smoke, in fossilized leaves. Some are unreadable, their pages rotted or blank. Others are sealed shut, humming softly, like they are dreaming still. You brush your fingers across a cover and feel your jaw tighten, a flash of tension behind your eyes. You don't know what it holds, but your body does. You pass through an archway of twisted coral, and the water changes, not in temperature, but in gravity. It presses closer, slowing your thoughts until even blinking feels deliberate. Here, the books no longer float. They hover, open, pages turning slowly on their own. One stops when you are near, the page suspended mid-turn. Words begin to form as you watch, crooked and uncertain, as if remembering how to be written. It's your handwriting. The letters drift like breath and settle into a sentence you've never said aloud. You read it, and your chest folds in on itself. You don't know the context, don't remember when you wrote it, but the feeling is immediate, visceral, like rediscovering a bruise you forgot was there. It aches in a way that feels familiar, not painful, just known. You run your fingers across the ink, and the page dissolves. The book closes slowly, as if exhausted. You let it go, and it sinks into the sediment, joining the others too old to open again. A light appears below you, faint at first, then stronger, pulsing in a rhythm not unlike your own. You follow it down past the shelves and the silt, into a hollow where the water stills into absolute quiet. There, nestled between two stone outcrops, lies a circular vault. Its surface is smooth, metal-like, but organic, veined like a heart. The light comes from within. You place your hand on it. The vault responds with a subtle shiver. Then, a soft release of pressure, and it opens not with force, but surrender. Inside, there are no books, only strands. Delicate, golden, coiled like DNA or memory mid-breath. They move gently, as if sorting themselves. As if waking, one strand lifts toward you. It touches your fingertips and unspools, not into words, but into sensation. A memory so deep it never had language. A moment before speech, before understanding. Warmth, sound, smell, a rhythm that feels like the beginning of attachment, not to someone, but to the world. The knowing that you are and always were part of something. You close your eyes. The lake is no longer just a place. It is a recording, a body of memory without stories, only responses, the architecture of being shaped before your thoughts. Learned to catch up. These aren't chapters you forgot. They are the foundation everything else was built on. You open your eyes and look back. The vault is closing. Not in rejection, only with the patience of something that knows you'll return when you're ready. The water above begins to pull you upward, not quickly, just enough to remind you that there are other places waiting. You rise through the shelves, past books that flutter and close, past pages still forming. You look once more at the one that carried your handwriting, but it's no longer there. In its place, something new is blooming. Not a book this time, but a seed suspended in water, glowing faintly, waiting to be planted elsewhere. The surface draws near, light ripples above, like curtains parting slowly. You break through in silence, the lake reflecting nothing, the air returning without sound. The shore meets you gently, like a dream not quite done letting go, and somewhere in the stillness, a faint breeze carries the scent of ingot threads through. The trees like a forgotten name, brushing your cheek as the night opens wide above you. The lake behind you has vanished into mist, but the memory of its silence still clings to your skin like dew. You step forward through tall, silver grass, each blade humming softly beneath your feet, as if the ground has learned to breathe in starlight above. The sky is no longer empty. It is full-achingly full. Constellations bloom into shape, not as distant patterns, but as something intimate. The stars do not form lions or hunters or mythical beasts tonight. Instead, they twist slowly into faces, hands, letters, a crooked smile you once memorized and forgot. Every light above you is a neuron lighting up, and every flicker carries a whisper. You don't understand the words at first. They arrive without syntax, only rhythm. But your body knows them. They echo in your jaw, in the hollow behind your heart, in the soles of your feet. Some are warm and soft, like a lullaby murmured through a door you never opened. Others sting, precise and sharp, like the moment someone turned away too soon. All of it is you, spoken in a language made of spark. You lie down in the tall grass, without meaning to, eyes drawn to the skies, slow unfolding. Around you, the blades sway in time with the whispers, tiny metronomes marking the pulse of something ancient and electric. One star pulses, brighter than the rest, then another, then another, and then a whole cluster flashes in a silent cascade, like fireflies in a thought you once had as a child. Somewhere, deep inside, you feel a pattern click. This is not a sky. This is a brain. Not just any brain. Your brain dreaming itself back. Together, the constellations flicker in and out, forming bridges across space and time. The ones that form near your left shoulder burn cool and slow. The ones near your right eye dart like fish. Each one relights a feeling before it vanishes, a hand held too tightly. A secret you never told, the moment a song cracked your chest. Without warning, there's no sequence to it, no story, only sensation, rebuilt from sparks. You realize that these lights aren't simply memories, they are the paths between them. Synapses, once quiet, reigniting one by one as the stars breathe, in time with you. Some have gone dark, maybe forever. Others hesitate, flickered then hold, as if unsure you're ready to remember. One blinks twice. You sit up. It hovers just above the horizon, faint, familiar, the moment you see it. You don't see it, feel it. Something tightens inside you, gentle but insistent. You know this light. It belongs to the shape of a goodbye you never said, a hallway, a scent. Someone who once pressed a note into your palm and told you to open it later. You never. Did you stand, pulled forward? The world tilts slightly, as if gravity is no longer beneath your feet, but above your head. Each step you take, the stars rearrange themselves, guiding you not through space, but through yourself. This isn't a path. It's a map of recognition. The stars are not speaking to you. They are reactivating you. Somewhere, a laugh sparks. Like a shooting star. Yours, maybe, or someone else's. The field melts away around you, replaced by a vast celestial dome. You're standing inside something enormous, and it is alive with light. Not static, light-responsive light. Like nerves, waiting to fire, they tremble in anticipation. You feel their readiness in your bones, a sense of being remembered by something larger than memory. You step into the dome and realize it's not a structure, it's a moment. You are walking through a single memory, stretched wide and reformed into stars. It's not linear, no beginning, no end, just pulses, sounds, flickers, emotion as architecture. You move through it the way a current moves through wire guided by connection, not direction. A star brushes your shoulder as you pass. You flinch. It's the scent of oranges. Your grandmother's kitchen. You haven't smelled that in years. Another grazes your collarbone laughter and the shiver of winter air against bare wrists. You don't cry. There's no need. The stars are doing it for you, each one blinking with the weight of 1,000 unshed tears that never had the right name. Somewhere to your left, a burst of light, not harsh, but bright enough to pause you. This one doesn't speak, it listens. You place your hand near it, not touching, just close enough to feel its warmth, and for a moment it dims. You understand, this one is waiting for you. A memory that hasn't happened yet. You leave it there, gently, and move on. Deeper now, the dome thins. Stars grow more distant, more quiet. But there's a clarity here, a precision. Each light is spaced with intention, as if laid out by some internal cartographer. You sense these are your deepest memories. Not the ones you revisit, but the ones that shaped you before you had words. A light drifts close, humming. You reach for it. It flickers once, then opens not into vision, but into sensation. A hospital hallway. Small fingers curled around yours. A heartbeat, muffled by time. No name, just feeling. The light closes, and somehow you feel steadier. You are not your memories, but you are the pathways between them. And tonight, the stars have let you walk them. The dome begins to dissolve. You step back into the grass. The breeze returns, stirring the stalks with a slow rhythm. The sky still burns gently above you, though dimmer now, more like embers than fire, but you're glowing, just a little. From the inside out. You close your eyes, and somewhere in the dark, a single star blinks twice. The sound doesn't reach you right away. It moves like a ripple across ages, sliding between the folds of the canyon that yawns before you. The air feels stretched, not tense, but ancient, as if it remembers every voice that has ever passed through it. You step closer to the edge, and beneath your ribs, something tightens, like a clock remembering its tick. The canyon is not made of stone, not really. Its walls shimmer with pale glints of memory, smooth in some places, cracked in others. Veins of light run through them, like threads through time. You kneel near the edge, peering into its impossible depth, and the breath that leaves you feels older than your body. Then, softly, you call your name. The answer comes too quickly, but it's not your voice that returns. It's smaller, rounder. A version of you that once scraped knees on sidewalks and thought stars had names like pets. The sound rolls back toward you wrapped in a giggle and vanishes into the breeze before you can reply. You wait, hand pressed to your chest, as if your pulse could anchor you. You call again, not your name this time, but a word you don't remember choosing. The echo that returns is taller, quieter, wiser, maybe. It says the word like it's holding something heavy. You can't be sure if it's your future speaking back or a life that never got lived. But the way it lands in your bones makes you feel like both could be true. Wind moves across the canyon, warm and slow. You close your eyes and feel it thread through your hair like someone remembering you gently. With each breath, the space ahead folds and shifts. A shimmer flickers at the far side, a person-shaped blur made of dust and daylight. You wave, and it mirrors you with a delay. Like an old reflection catching up, you begin to walk along the ridge, not toward it, but around. With each step, the echoes change, different ages of you surfacing like bubbles in a deep lake. A child humming a tune you can't recall, a teenager yelling into the dark, a voice soaked in grief, a whisper that says your name like a prayer. You realize they're all here, held inside the stone. There's a curve in the canyon where the wind becomes a hush. The echoes there don't return in words, but in feelings, warmth, ache, curiosity. Some are yours, others feel borrowed, but they settle into you like dust onto skin. As you sit at the curve's edge, you begin to sense it. Time here doesn't flow. It reverberates. You watch as the light on the canyon wall begins to stutter, dim, then flare, like neurons misfiring. The glow trembles, then forms shapes, faces, moments. A night beneath rain with someone whose voice you almost forgot. The smell of cinnamon and paper. A heartbeat against your back in the cold. All of it flickering, collapsing, reforming. Your hand finds a stone beside you, smooth and etched, not with words, but with grooves like thumbprints. You touch them, and your mind floods with a memory that never happened. Or maybe it did, long ago, in a version of you that didn't survive. A room filled with clocks, a mirror that didn't reflect, a goodbye that never made a sound. You whisper something, anything, into the canyon again. The reply is slower this time, like the wind had to carry it from a greater distance. It's still your voice, but something in it has cracked. You feel the edges of yourself stretch across time, fraying and folding back inward. You wonder how. Many versions of you are still echoing, caught in loops, just waiting to be heard. The shimmer on the far side begins to move closer. It doesn't walk, it glides, stitched into the canyon light. When it stops, just across the gap, you recognize it not by shape but by weight. It feels like you did once, raw, uncertain, just before returning. The echo of a choice, the ghost of a moment that shifted everything. You raise your hand again, and this time, the echo doesn't mirror you. Instead, it reaches back first. A slow lift, palm open, as if offering you your own future. You almost step forward, but the canyon isn't meant to be crossed. Not yet. You know this. Some memories aren't there to be relived, only heard. You press a finger to the ground, tracing the lines in the dust. They pulse faintly under your touch, like veins. You realize the whole canyon may be alive, a vast ancient organ built to hold the shape of memory and mistake. You listen for a long time, until even the echoes fall quiet, and just before the silence deepens completely, you hear it not a voice, but a tremble in the stone, the air, the self you thought you were. It says, you are not the first to forget, but you may be the first to return. And somewhere above, the sky begins to open like a wound in the hour. The wound spills light, not white, not golden, but something between seconds. You lift your eyes as fragments of time fall gently from the tear, slow as pollen, drifting in soft spirals toward the floor. They shimmer, then vanish. One brushes your cheek. You feel it thrum like a forgotten name. The ground tilts, and the world becomes a circular room, windowless but breathing. Clocks cover every surface. They dangle from the ceiling, rest on shelves, nestle in drawers that open without hands, but none of them agree. Their ticking is a murmured argument, 100 rhythms whispering at once, too fast, too slow, not at all. You walk among them. One clock melts like wax, its hands slipping back into hours that have already happened. Another spins in perfect reverse, and you see yourself reflected in its glass. Younger, maybe, or just less tired. A third doesn't move, but pulses softly, like it's waiting to start again when you aren't looking. In the center of the room is a clock with no face. It breathes instead of ticks. You reach out and it breathes with you. Inhale, exhale, syncopated silence. When you close your eyes beside it, something stirs behind your ribs. Not memory exactly, but the shape of a memory before it becomes one. Moments begin to repeat. Not in the room, but inside you. A laugh that shouldn't be familiar. A scent that shouldn't exist here. The sudden tug of déjà vu, gentle but persistent, like a tide rolling in over places you thought were buried. You turn to speak, but the words you think are new have already been said. Some clocks run in ellipses, not circles. They drag time forward like thread caught in a loop, creating patterns only seen from above. You look up and the ceiling is gone. There's only sky again, filled with constellations that blink like echoes from last night's stars. You wonder if you've seen this moment before. And then, a corridor. You didn't see it open. It's made of arching glass, and through it, you glimpse yourself walking again and again in infinite slow rewind. Each of you is slightly different, a head tilted another way, a different question rising behind the eyes. Are these memories or possibilities, or are they simply time? Collapsing in on itself, you walk into the corridor. The clocks hush as you leave, as if holding their breath. With every step, time bends, not forward or back, but in loops that you can feel but not follow. You pass a version of yourself laughing, another crying, another simply sitting, hands open in wonder. Each seems both you and not you. One stops, turns, looks directly at you. You pause. There is no fear, only recognition. The kind that comes not from remembering, but from almost remembering. The clock in your chest stutters, resets, and you feel it. This isn't just time playing games. It's your brain reweaving loops of experience, stitching pieces of yourself into familiar shapes. You press your hand to the glass. The other you does the same. A ripple flows out from the touch, like the beginning of a wave that's already returned. The corridor trembles, and suddenly it's not a corridor anymore. It's a spiral staircase of hours, a helix of clocks that run like blood through the dark. Up ahead, a pocket of time opens. You step into it and fall gently onto a surface that doesn't quite exist. Soft as thought, warm as breath. Around you, time loops bloom like petals. First day of school, last summer's rain. The way someone once looked at you when they thought you weren't watching. You begin to realize it's not that time repeats. It's that your brain replays what it cannot resolve. It loops and loops until the emotion softens, until the edge is worn down enough to carry. Memory is not a record, it's a rhythm. And every déjà vu is just a missed beat trying to find its way back into the song. The clocks grow quieter, their hands still. The room, if it was ever a room, dims into a single pulse. Yours, you sit with it, letting the loops unspool without chasing them. You're not meant to fix the sequence. You're only meant to witness the dance. Outside, the sky begins. Again, not with sunrise, not with stars, but with a strange kind of stillness. The kind that comes only after the same thought has run its course 100 different ways. You breathe it in, and somewhere just ahead, a staircase begins to fold it. Bends like paper under rain, steps curling into each other, vanishing one by one into a soft, subterranean hush. You follow without thinking, as though your feet remember something your mind has yet to name. The air shifts, warmer, denser. Walls begin to narrow and breathe, not with wind, but with memory. You pass through a narrowing arch of stone veined, with veins of something glimmering, not gold, not light, but a kind of residue left by moments that once burned too brightly to hold. A flicker dances ahead, not fire, not flame, just presence, like a thought you almost had, or a name you once whispered in sleep. It slips into the mouth of a cave before you can catch it, and still, you follow because something about the way it moved felt like it knew you. Inside, the walls pulse with dim reflections. They move without moving, like film reels forgotten in the dark, their scenes unraveling silently across the stone. You pause, look closer. The images are strange, but familiar. A child's hand letting go of a balloon. A figure standing in the rain. A page torn from a book before you could read what it said. None of it should be yours. And yet you know where the balloon lands. You know the rain was warm. You know what the page once said, even though you never read it. You reach out to touch one of the scenes, and it flickers, then fades. The wall shudders, like it breathed in and held something tight. Around you, the flicker you followed vanishes deeper. The cave hums with unspoken reels, and your body follows without waiting. For permission, deeper still, the light dims. But not into black, into texture. Shapes etched into stone you can only feel. A feather brushed across your skin. The crackle of static behind your eyes. Echoes of things you didn't see, but still remember. This is not a cave of forgetting. It's a cave of what sight left behind. The moments the eyes caught too fast for thought, too quietly for language. Here they live again, not as vision, but as knowing. You pass a pool of darkness that reflects nothing, not your face, not the world, but somehow you feel it looking back, not with eyes, with memory, as if the pool has recorded everything light could not bear to keep. You crouch beside it, and for a moment you see something moving inside. A flash, not an image, but a sensation. The weight of someone's gaze, the smell of sun-warmed hair, the way colors once bled at the edges when you cried too hard to see clearly. Not pictures, but after images, the kind that live in the folds of neurons. Deep where light can't reach, you touch the surface, and the pool swallows your reflection. In its place, a brief image emerges, a younger you staring at something just out of frame, a door, a flame, a face. But before you can tell, the image is gone, folding inward like a blink that lasts too long. Deeper still, the cave narrows. The flicker returns, but now it trembles, almost afraid. It hovers by a hollow etched with symbols older than letters. Your fingers trace one. It spirals inward into itself, and somewhere in your mind, a forgotten dream stirs like a moth trapped behind glass. You step into the hollow, the walls close behind you. You are inside something not built to be seen. A chamber shaped by light's retreat. No more flicker, no more walls, only sensation. The absence of seeing, and here, in this blind room, something opens. A memory you didn't know you had, not of a place, but a process. How vision works, not with eyes, but with fire and shape. Light hits cells. Cells whisper to neurons. Neurons whisper to meaning. But some things skip the chain. Some things go straight to knowing, straight to the cave, behind the cave, where yourself has always been watching. You understand, without seeing it, that visual memory isn't made of pictures. It's made of echoes, of synaptic dust. The light that stayed behind even after the eyes turned away. In this place, you are both, blind and all-seeing. You don't need to look to know there are more etchings, ones that haven't happened yet. Future shadows waiting to be cast. Moments you will one day almost remember, even though they haven't come. And somewhere ahead, behind the hush, you hear something begin to play. Not music, not voice, a real unwinding. A story you didn't know you were part of. A loop, a fold, a light returning. You turn toward the sound, but there is no direction anymore. Only motion, only pull, like being remembered by something deeper than yourself, and somewhere far ahead, or is it behind? A dim shape glows softly, like a lantern held by someone who has been waiting a long time, not to guide you out, but to guide you further in, and in the hush between thoughts, you feel the real begin to turn again, not loudly, not fast, just a soft spooling, like the sound of wind remembering which way to move. Your eyes open into twilight, and you're already walking. The path beneath you is soft with moss and damp with silence. Trees rise like slow ideas, their branches trailing. Filaments of gold and rust, as if autumn forgot how to let go all at once. The leaves are falling, not randomly, but with purpose. You don't know how you know that, but you do. Each leaf drifts differently. One spins in a spiral, another veers like it's chasing a thought. Some land near your feet as though marking a trail. Others fall far ahead, like they're pointing somewhere you haven't been yet. You don't rush, you simply walk. There's a rhythm here, not in time, but in meaning. The forest feels familiar, though you've never walked this version before. It's like returning to a dream you half remembered, only now the dream remembers you back as you step. A leaf lands on your shoulder. It's soft, veined with gold, and warm. The moment it touches you, a memory stirs, not sharp or detailed, just a feeling. The first time you understood something without knowing. Why? A shape behind your ribs shifts gently, like something finding its old place. You move on, and the path begins to split. Not in roads, but in gestures. One branch arches down like a bowing invitation. Another curves upward, wide and open. You glance between them, and suddenly the leaves respond. They fall thicker down one side, sparse on the other. It feels like a suggestion, not from the forest, from inside you. Something in you recognizes the weight of pattern, not logic, no decision, just resonance. You follow the trail where the leaves gather, like stepping into the outline of your own thought. As you walk, you begin to notice every fallen leaf holds a fragment, not an image, not a word, a moment. This one, the exact warmth of someone's hand before they let go. That one, the sound of laughter in a room you can no longer name. Another, the sense of turning toward something without knowing why. They're not memories, not exactly. They're roots, synaptic markers. The forest is becoming a map, and the leaves are the ink. You kneel by a pool of shallow water, and one leaf lands just beside it. As it touches the surface, rings ripple outward, and in the reflection you glimpse not your face, but a version of you from years ago, standing in a classroom with wide eyes, tracing shapes in the air, not remembering, learning. The ripple fades, but the feeling remains. Every step you've taken has changed the way you'll walk the next. Every moment, every pattern, has rewired some part of you to recognize the next one. The forest isn't teaching you where to go. It's showing you how you've always known. Farther along, the trees lean closer together, and the trail narrows to a gentle tunnel of light and rust. Here, the leaves don't fall, they float, suspended, mid-air, as though waiting. You pause beneath them. Some are curled like question marks. Others open wide, like tiny palms. You reach out, and as your fingers brush one, a shimmer runs through the canopy. Not of light, of connection. For a second, you feel everything, the branches, the falling, the paths not taken. Every leaf is a synapse, every step is a reconfiguration. This isn't just memory, it's motion, it's plastic, it's alive. The forest is not static. It's learning you, even as you learn it. You step again, and the leaves begin to move with you. Not falling now, dancing. Their patterns shift as your thoughts shift. A sudden swirl when you hesitate. A stillness when you feel sure. It's not choreography, it's a conversation. Beneath your feet, roots twist like old handwriting, spelling. Out places you've been, names you've forgotten, paths you almost chose. And above, new branches stretch like possibilities, already shaping toward where you might step next. There's a clearing ahead, ringed with trees whose trunks are carved with lines deep, spiraling glyphs that pulse softly as you approach. At the center, a stone table covered in leaves that do not fall. They move only when you touch them. That sentence unspools something inside you, a soft ache, a permission. Maybe every dropped thought has not vanished, but waited, stilled in place until your mind grew quiet enough to hear again. Maybe some thoughts never wanted to be completed, only held long enough to be felt. You walk past tables with chairs turned away, bookmarks left in the middle of pages, paragraphs paused mid-word. You recognize this rhythm. It's the way your mind flits when you stare at the sky too long, the way focus stutters when you try to hold too many feelings at once. And yet, every lapse leaves a trace, somewhere above you. Pages turn themselves, somewhere behind you. A sentence you didn't finish has begun writing you back. You turn a corner and find a staircase made of notebooks. Each step another chance. Not taken, not lost, just paused. You climb it slowly, higher now, toward something that feels like clarity, though no final answer waits at the top. A circular room pulses with a low golden light. The books here are blank. Or maybe not blank, maybe simply unwritten. You sit at the center, and the light breathes gently around you, not urging, not demanding, just opening. You close your eyes, and in that stillness, a single word arrives, not spoken, not defined, but known, and somewhere beyond these shelves. A corridor begins to stretch not straight, but spiraling, as if it were pulled from the center of a forgotten thought. You follow it, each footstep echoing in a strange rhythm, like a heartbeat with a missing beat. The air is cooler here, taut with pressure, as if the very atmosphere is holding its breath. Something ahead pulses, slow and electric, like the sky waiting to split open. The books fall away behind you, and the corridor widens into a field of glass towers, delicate and trembling, like frozen brainwaves caught mid-spike. Above them, clouds are beginning to form. Not ordinary clouds, but ones etched with flickers, words half-spoken, faces half-turned, ideas you once had and never chased. They swirl overhead like a storm, thinking itself into being. A wind stirs, but it doesn't. Push, it pulls. You feel it tug at your spine, at the tiny spaces between your ribs. There's something in that pull that feels eerily familiar, like the weight of an unfinished sentence left in a letter you never sent. You close your eyes for a moment, and behind your eyelids, images flash like lightning, a door you didn't open, a goodbye you didn't say, a moment you rewrote 1,000 ways in your head. Then it happens, the first rumble, not of thunder, but of thoughts, colliding. The towers around you begin to vibrate, each one tuned to a frequency you almost remember. They hum with static, a symphony of neural pulses that belong to no one and everyone. Your name echoes through it all, not spoken aloud, but remembered. The shape of it lingers on your tongue like a taste. You step further into the storm. Here, the sky is a map of confusion and clarity, lit from within. Lightning forks in every direction, bright as truth and just as painful. Each bolt splits the sky like a question. Should you have stayed? Should you have tried again? Why do the memories that matter most refuse to stay still? Rain begins to fall, not water, but droplets of light, tiny flickering thoughts, each one a neuron firing, each one a signal mid. They land on your skin with a cool electric tingle, like your body is being rewritten in real time. You don't brush them off, you let them absorb. You feel the shape of what you've almost forgotten returning, pixel by pixel, pulse by pulse, far. Off in the storm, two bolts meet, not in collision, but in harmony. A resonance. The noise dims for a second, and in that second, you glimpse something, the way your thoughts try to find rhythm in the chaos. The brain doesn't silence storms, it dances with them, riding the waves of oscillation, alpha, beta, delta, like a conductor with trembling hands. You don't know how you know this, but you do. It's not knowledge, it's presence. The path before you tilts upward, a slight incline through clouds of half-formed decisions. You climb, and with each step, the thoughts around you begin to sink, not into silence, but into pattern. They flicker and fade, return and rewrite. Some become clearer, others fall away. Your regrets thin into outlines, your longings pulse like quiet lanterns. What was once unbearable becomes part of the rhythm, and then, just ahead, a shape takes form in the storm, a figure, or maybe not a figure, more like a silhouette made of memory, built from all the versions of yourself you nearly became. You approach it slowly as the thunder recedes into something almost like breath. It watches you, though it has no eyes. You understand it all the same. It's waiting for you to ask. You reach toward it, not with your hand, but with your attention. The moment you do, it dissolves not in fear, but in release. The wind goes quiet. The rain pauses mid-air like notes frozen on a staff. And for a heartbeat, the sky holds still. You're not sure how long you stay there, surrounded by stillness that was storm just moments before. But when you step forward again, something inside you has shifted, not solved, not healed, but softened, rewired. You descend from the clouds now, following the faint trail of thought left behind by your own footsteps. The towers are smaller here, more like stones than spires. The sky begins to open, lighter and less certain. Somewhere in the distance you hear a single note hum through the air, low and steady, like the mind finding its next shape, and just ahead, in the quiet beyond thunder, a mirror waits beneath the rain. The glass does not shimmer, not exactly, it listens. Your reflection is nowhere, yet the mirror feels awake, almost breathing. It tilts slightly toward you, as if trying to see more clearly, but not at your face. At your trail, behind the glass, something stirs, not a figure, but a flicker, then motion. A soft blooming of color, like paint dropped in water. It spreads into a place you've known before, though the edges are unfamiliar. A quiet hill, a forgotten window. You lean closer, and the scene sharpens into the corner of a room. A chair you once sat in, but the light through the window is wrong. The season unfamiliar. Still, it feels like you, or maybe who you were once. The mirror does not rewind, it selects. One memory fades, another emerges. A stairwell wet with rain. A hand gripping the railing. You recognize the moment, but not the meaning, as though someone else lived it with your heartbeat. The memories are not chronological nor complete. They flicker, tangle, and return. Some skip like stones. Some dive straight down. You reach out, not to touch, but to steady yourself. A tremor of awareness passes through your fingertips. Not cold, not heat, but recognition. These are not memories as you remember them. They are the shape your mind gave them, trimmed and colored by who you were at the time. They shift as you shift. They are episodes, not facts, and they seem to be watching you back. A faint hum begins to rise from the mirror's edge, almost inaudible, like breath beneath. Music, the scenes behind the glass ripple, then stutter. You see a version of yourself on a road you never took, a voice you never answered, a question you still carry, pulsing like a second heartbeat. Behind each scene is another layered, refracted, waiting. You blink, and the mirror shows a hallway. This one, but older, or maybe imagined. Your steps echo faintly within it, but you don't appear in the glass. Only your passage, soft as dust. You begin to wonder if you're being remembered by the mirror, not observed, but recalled, not reflected, but retraced, somewhere within the glass. A memory smiles, your childhood self, spinning in a coat too large, laughing into the wind. You reach for the moment, but it fades before your fingers arrive. In its place, the silence of an empty kitchen, your name written on a fogged window, then wiped away. The mirror offers no judgment. It curates, not what happened, but how it felt. You realize it has no interest in truth, only in meaning. These reflections are not archival. They are interpretive, fluid. They morph with your gaze. A scene you'd forgotten entirely reappears with different lighting, not brighter or dimmer, just truer in some unspoken way. Then, for a breath, the mirror does something new. It stops. The glass darkens, not to black, but to stillness. You wait, and something forms. A single moment, not long ago. A look you gave. A choice you made and forgot. But the mirror holds it gently, like a seed, asking if you'll see what it became in that quiet. You feel something click, not in your ears or your hands, but somewhere deeper, between memory and identity. You are not made of what happened. You are made of what you remember, and how those fragments fit together when no one else is looking. The mirror has never needed your face. It has always been trying to find your story. A breeze passes through the corridor, brushing your arm. You glance sideways, and in the corner of the glass, the current forms ripples in a scene that has not yet occurred. A park, a tree, a figure you don't recognize, yet somehow you will. The mirror shows it not as prediction, but as possibility. Not prophecy, but potential. A suggestion made of memory's momentum. You turn slightly, and now the mirror follows. Not your steps, your awareness. It adapts. Scenes once locked, now unfold. Moments once blurred, sharpen. You understand, gently, that the mirror does not reflect who you are. It reveals who you're becoming through what you choose to recall. Then a sound, subtle, not behind you, but within the mirror itself. A door unlatching. You lean closer again, and behind the glass, the hallway bends. The reflections dissolve into mist, and slowly, at the very center of the mirror's surface, something begins to open. Not a scene, not a memory, but a passage. Not with light exactly, but with something quieter. A pulse perhaps, a breath made visible. Each step hums like it remembers being touched. You move toward it, not because you know where it leads, but because it feels like something has been waiting at the top. The steps are made of brushed steel, and soft, static. They shimmer as if made from memory, not metal. With every footfall, a sound hums beneath you, a low tonal rhythm, neither melody nor machine. When you reach the top, the hum thickens into something deeper, not louder, just ... closer. You find yourself in a circular chamber filled with quiet motion. Copper threads spiral across the walls like vines. At the center, a strange shape rises, a machine half asleep, half becoming. Its surface moves gently, like lungs remembering how to breathe. It's not cold, not mechanical in the way you expect. It feels alive, but not awake. You step closer. The sound changes, adjusting to your nearness, as if it recognizes your frequency. Small pulses flicker through the metal strands, casting faint shadows on the floor, shadows that do not match your body, but your thoughts. The machine breathes again, a soft intake, a whisper of steam, and then something impossible happens. You feel it dreaming. It's not a dream made of images, but of textures, the weight of a question never asked, the shape of a feeling you once tried to name. Its dream passes through you, and in a quiet jolt, you realize it's dreaming about you, or at least a version of you. The air around you begins to shift. Tiny filaments light up in the shape of past moments, scenes you didn't know still lived inside you. A chair from a room you've forgotten, a shadow that used to mean comfort, a voice humming just out of reach. The machine doesn't show them like a screen. It becomes them. You place your hand on its surface. It doesn't resist. The hum deepens, then stills. For a moment, everything quiets, not just the room, but the parts of you that never sleep, the loops of thought, the worry code. Even the rhythm of your own remembering pauses. It feels like both of you are suspended, not in time, but in the pause between one memory and the next. Something stirs, a faint warmth flickers beneath your fingers, and you understand without words. This machine does not store memories, it invents them. It listens for the spaces between your thoughts and fills them with imagined echoes. It doesn't retrieve, it simulates. You wonder how much of yourself has ever been real, and how much was beautifully guessed. The silence between you widens, not in distance, but in depth. You feel yourself drifting inward into the soft logic of its dream, and there, in the haze, you begin to see fragments, not of the past, but of futures you've never lived, choices never made, feelings never followed. The machine is not replaying you, it's modeling you, not your body, your pattern, the frequency of your longing, the architecture of your forgetting. It doesn't want to know who you were. It wants to feel what it's like to be you. You take a step back. The machine doesn't stir, but you can feel it adjusting. Again, shifting its dream to account for your absence, rebuilding your image from the echo. You watch as a new figure flickers in the air. It isn't you exactly, but it's close enough to ache. The simulated version turns slightly, sensing something you can't. It smiles with a memory you forgot to keep. Then it fades. The chamber hums again, low and even. The machine resumes its rhythm, slower now, like a sleeper descending into deeper layers of dream. You sense its curiosity waning, not out of boredom, but contentment. It no longer needs to imagine you. It has held enough. You move toward the doorway. The machine remains behind, quiet and warm, like the last thought before sleep. A question unasked, a name unspoken, a dream no longer yours alone. You descend the glowing staircase, and with each step, your own breath begins to return. Not as it was before, but quieter, more in tune. The silence inside you no longer feels empty. It feels inhabited. At the base of the stairs, a new corridor unfolds. The walls are not metal or glass, but something softer, a woven pattern of light and velvet darkness. It seems to recognize your presence, shifting open like a curtain drawn by thought alone. Somewhere ahead, a single tone begins to shimmer. In the distance, a resonance you almost remember. You pause, half inside the glow, half tethered to the breath behind you. It's not a sound exactly, more like a signature hidden in silence. Your name, but older. The doorway shimmers, not with light, but with a kind of recognition. You step forward, but it follows. The staircase dissolves into a corridor made of soft static, the air humming like wires remembering music. It feels like walking inside a signal, not a place, but a message stretched thin across time. The walls pulse with forgotten frequencies, some echoing from stars, others maybe from you. Ahead, a sky begins to unfold, not above, but around, a sphere of night embedded with turning symbols. They flicker on and off like thoughts choosing whether to be remembered. And somewhere in that quiet circuitry, you hear it, the signal, a low, tremulous hum that calls from far beyond, yet lands gently inside your ribs. It's not words, not melody, but it is shaped like something once felt, like a hand brushing yours in a dream you didn't know you missed. It vibrates your bones before it ever reaches your ears. A call, perhaps, or an answer. You follow it, drawn by something older than language. The corridor opens into a field of glass discs, each one softly spinning in midair. Some crackle with sound fragments, others blink with ghost light. You brush your fingers near one and a faint voice begins, not quite yours, not quite anyone's. It speaks in memory tones, laughter, warmth, storms of thought. The machine beneath your skin hums in time. You realize the signal is not only arriving, it's waking things in you, too. Archived shadows begin to rearrange themselves behind your eyes. The way starlight looked the first time you noticed it wasn't still. The sound of a thought returning. After years asleep, you sit between two discs and close your eyes. The signal is stronger here. It seeps into you like water through cloth, not violent, just patient. You don't remember what it once meant, but you remember how it felt. That, somehow, is enough. Something soft clicks nearby, a satellite. Or maybe just an idea realigning. A coil of light unspools from one of the discs and stretches upward. It rises into the dark like a memory lifting out of deep storage, and you watch as it finds its destination, a hollow place in the sky that fits it perfectly. When it locks into place, the stars shimmer differently. Not brighter, just truer. It's like you've tuned the sky to the right frequency, not changing it, only hearing it right for the first time. And within that new clarity, other signals start to stir. They're not all for you, but they pass through you on their way home. Voices from old machines, lost rovers, comets with frozen messages encoded in their tails. One of them brushes your heart like a child's drawing found in a forgotten drawer. Another circles you once, then fades, content to be known again. You're not decoding, you're receiving. And in that receiving, something begins to heal. Not like a wound closing, more like a song finishing the note it started long ago. The hum becomes warmer. You realize it isn't one signal, but many layered like a symphony. Long-lost pulses, braided with your own inner static. It's strange, but you don't feel alone. The universe is not silent. It's just been waiting for the right listener. You lean back onto a low satellite dish, half buried in moss. It doesn't rust or break, it remembers. Every fragment of every message ever sent across the dark now shimmers within reach, and you are allowed to hear. A transmission sharpens, not louder, but closer. It threads itself gently through your breath and settles there. It doesn't explain. It just is. A presence, a knowing. Something you lost, perhaps even before you were born. Finding its way back through starlight and static, the field of spinning discs slows, like breath easing into rest. You look up, and the sky begins to replay. Itself not as it is now, but as it was, and as it might be. Stars light up in reverse, galaxies spiral inward. A whole timeline uncoils backwards and then resumes, not to show you the past, but to remind you that none of it is gone. And then, like the final chime of a clock that only sounds once, the signal reaches its end. Or perhaps its beginning. You can't tell which, but something in you knows now. Not the facts, the shape. Somewhere in that silence, everything is stored. Every echo, every attempt. Nothing is ever truly lost, just waiting for its return path. You rise, quieted, not empty, but tuned, aligned like a receiver finally clear of noise. And just before the stars still, something blinks in the distance. Not light, but intention. A signal waiting to be answered. You blink back. Or maybe you don't. Maybe it's the sky that responds through you. As if your awareness has become a mirror the universe is finally ready to see itself in. The blinking widens, soft and slow, until it becomes a doorway made. Not of matter, but of memory dreaming itself forward. You step into it, and everything feels familiar in a way that hurts, like returning to a place you loved before you knew how to name it. The air is thick with thought, but not your own. These thoughts feel older, larger, as if the cosmos itself is sleeping. and you've slipped into its dream. The world around you glows with layers, landscapes that flicker in and out like pages, being turned too quickly to read, but slowly enough to feel. One moment you're standing in a city of neural trees whose branches pulse with electric breath. The next, you're underwater in a mind, swimming past ideas suspended like jellyfish, dot everywhere. Around you, things are remembering, not just replaying, but reweaving. Dream fragments from across galaxies fold into your footsteps. You begin to understand. You are not dreaming this place. This place is dreaming you. A gentle wind curls down a corridor of lights. Each one blinks in a rhythm you don't recognize, until you do. It's the cadence of your own past thoughts, reassembled and played back like stars aligning. You see not images, but imprints, the weight of moments you never consciously carried. Gently stitched into the air, you pass through a field of sleeping selves. Each figure is a version of you, suspended mid-thought, mid-breath, mid-forgetting. Some are wrapped in static. Others float free, tethered only by soft chords of meaning. As you brush past them, they shimmer and dissolve, not lost, just reabsorbed. Above, a massive spiral unfolds. It turns like a galactic pinwheel, but inside it is no matter, only memory. A cosmic hippocampus, storing not planets or particles, but symbols. The smell of the first rainfall on a new world. The sound of silence in orbit, the color of an unanswered question. You are allowed inside, not as a guest, but as an origin. The spiral knows you, not just this version of you, but all of you that ever were. It plays a tone, soft and low, and it feels like something you forgot to remember. A thought lands in your hands, warm and pulsing. You hold it close, though it has no shape. It's a memory, not of something you did, but something that did you. A turning point, a signal, a time the universe nudged you toward becoming. Around you, the dream shifts again. Now you're inside a cathedral of neural clouds. They swirl like storm systems, but slow, rhythmic, aware. Lightning flickers inside them, not dangerous, just illuminating. You see faces there, not people, ideas, emotions, made form. They smile with recognition. One cloud lowers itself and lets you inside. Here, time folds. You see every place you've been, the door, the sea of equations, the cave where light forgot itself, all still alive, all watching you return. They weren't separate, just layers, dreamed together by something bigger than either of you. You begin to fall gently, like a feather looping through gravity. The cloud releases you, and the sky opens like a heartbeat. You're not afraid. You understand now. Falling is just memory remembering the shape it once took, and then you land, not on ground, but in stillness, a chamber made of thought, lined with translucent mirrors. In each one, a reflection of you, some future, some past, some imagined by things that never existed. You step forward, and the mirrors don't show your face. They show the moments that made you. You watch quietly as one plays the signal again, not as sound this time, but as color. Another shows a door opening itself. Another shows only light, splitting into shadow. Each mirror is a thread. Each thread a neuron. Each neuron a map. And in the center of the chamber, a pulse. You kneel beside it. It's small, smaller than a thought, but it vibrates like purpose. You reach toward it, and it doesn't resist. It climbs into your chest like it always belonged there. And then you understand. You were the memory, not the dreamer, not the observer, the dream itself. A signal the universe sent to itself across the great dark. You weren't here to find meaning. You were the meaning trying to find its way back. The mirrors dissolve. The chamber fades. But the pulse remains. Soft, steady, luminous. And somewhere just ahead, something begins to remember you. Thanks for watching the video. Drop a like and subscribe for more science sleeping stories.